to Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show. What's up? Wholesale Hotline. I'm Brown Daniels coming to you live from the CTP studios.
I love it. I love it.
Brown Daniels.
I'm jealous. You're there. I'm in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. It is beautiful out here, but Wholesale Hotline 88. I'm jealous of you there. I'm jealous of you guys being so close, but we're going to do this thing. I
wanted to let you know while I was here, I filed a formal name change for TTP. It's no longer Talk to People, it's Talk to Punjabis.
I love it. I love it. I leave for 48 hours and my whole life.
We've taken over. Everybody over here. I gave them all the day off. The rest of the week off. So your whole office has decided, they're taking orders from me now. So sorry, Brent.
Hey, listen, listen, that's good direction. Listen to him, guys. Jamil's the best.
We are so happy to be coming in. Brent, where are you right now, bro? You look like you're in this incredible. I've been hearing about your Instagram just being the most paradise. What's happening? Tell us about it.
Yeah, it's Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. I had never been here. It's absolutely beautiful. There is a phenomenal, big time investor here named Lee Arnold, and he does a really great job. So I'm just here seeing his operation. He does hard money. He owns Kogo Capital, where a lot of people can get their proof of funds for like $10 or whatever. And he lends on a lot of properties. He's flipping. He's got a whole training business and company. So just coming to see what he's doing, and it's been a real privilege. It's been really cool.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Lee Arnold is a gangster in the business. Everybody respects him very, very highly. He's very highly spoke of. And also a lot of first-time wholesalers use Kogo Capital for their proof of funds.
Yep.
So you guys might not know Lee Arnold specifically, but many of you have gone to kogocapital.com to get a proof of funds when you're making offers. So he is the individual that has been helping you, and it's his bank account that you guys are leveraging for your offers. So tell him everybody at Wholesale Hotline thanks him for his service.
I will. I definitely will. Yeah, he's got a great team. So excited to be here and be able to make the hotline. I mean, I love this every single week, and I think about it every single week. And I really, it was something that you and I had talked about. Actually, all three of us have really talked about it. The whole thought of, you don't get what you want, you get what you attract, right? And I think just being around people that are doing more than you really helps you attract some awesome things. So that's what I'm doing out here.
Did you see what Pace has attracted over the weekend? I think over 70 contracts for first-time investors. Pace, can you tell us a little bit about what you've been doing? My Instagram has been blowing up. I've been just watching people in tears. They're so happy with what you've been able to show them just in a few short days. Tell us about it, bro.
We just, we wanted to do a challenge that gave brand new people a chance to get a contract very quickly. And the only way I thought to get a contract, like almost guaranteed, is to create a 30-day challenge, open it up to everybody, students, non-students, sub to Astro, everybody, right? TTP, everybody, even just people, anybody, doesn't matter. But then I realized like what we all need is we need help from somebody else. And I physically don't have the time to help everybody that it is in this challenge. And so what I did is I recruited my sub 2 students to help people in this challenge. And my sub 2 students have helped 67 people. As of this morning, it was 67 people get their first contract in 6 days, 67 contracts in 6 days.
Incredible.
Now, by the end of the day, we'll probably be close to 85 contracts by the end of today. I'm getting DMs, I'm getting emails, people locking. I would tell you, out of the people that were on the live this morning, 1 out of every 10 people that were on our live this morning, we had about 680 people. 1 out of 10 people got their first contract in that live. And we're only 1 week done with a 30-day challenge. And so we've been working on that, and it's completely free, just trying to give everybody value. What we've been doing is we've been doing the challenge ourselves, because I feel like there's 2 things you're missing when you do a 30-day challenge, right? Especially if you do one on YouTube. You're missing an accountability partner, a live accountability partner, and then you're also missing somebody that can actually make the calls for your sellers or to your sellers for you. Because if I'm brand new, yeah, I might know how to find a distressed property, but do I know how to overcome the fear of just talking to sellers? And so my students have volunteered to just step in and go, let us call your sellers, let us help you out. My students are just helping non-students all over the place. And guys, I'm only counting contracts that have been done by non-students from the help of the students. So amazing, amazing, amazing. The original goal was to hit 50 contracts in 30 days. And I was like, man, this is all right. I don't even know what's going to happen. I didn't know how many people were going to show up or sign up. We ended up having about 3,000 people sign up for the live. You know how that goes, right? 3,000 people want to change their lives, but not everybody actually shows up.
I was just going to interject and say, you have 3,000 sign up, 680 whatever show up, right? Of the 680,
on day 1, we had about 900 through day 3, we had about 900 kind of stick through. Yep. But you know how that is. It's like day 4, people start falling off, and that's how it goes, right, Jamil?
Of course. But what I want people to understand is that let's just call it 675 people. Okay. And I'm using this number strategically. If 675 people show up, guys, there is a rule, right? And we know this, and it's mathematically proven that 20% of the people will take 80% of the action, right? That is always how it works. It's a universal law, and it doesn't matter what we see, what we look at. This is how it always works. 20% of people will take 80% of the action. That's the fact. So when you look at it like that, if we have 675 people, of which 20% are taking action, and 67 of them have contracts, what does that tell you? That tells you that in reality, you got a 50% hit rate, bro.
Yeah.
So what are they doing? Break it down for everybody that's totally unaware. They're driving, they're getting ugly houses, they're calling them.
So what we started is on day 1, which was last Monday, so a week from today, we started and we trained people on how to download Batch Driven.
Yep.
So we taught them how to download Batch Driven, and then we told them if you can't even download an app, we're not letting you into day 2. Like if you can't even take action, don't even come to day 2. I'm not going to be your babysitter. And what happened is a lot of people started talking about it on Instagram and like, why didn't I know about this? And why, because people aren't living on social media like a lot of us are. And so it takes them sometimes 3 or 4 days to catch up to something we're promoting. So we let it open all the way until today. We finally locked out the challenge today. And here's what we've been doing. Every morning, Tuesday, all the way through today, we went out into the field. Literally, we had 2 people on Zoom behind Matt as Matt drove for deals around town. And we turned the cameras on the houses and we talked about why these are good houses. And then we added them to the app, right? Very basic, rudimentary. Here's how you find a house. Here's how you delineate whether this is a good one or a bad house or whatever. And then on day 3, we did it virtually. And on day 4, we went to an appointment from a Driving for Deals lead. Like we literally had one of my students with Matt walking around an appointment on Zoom with 900 people watching. And then that exact day, Jamil, is really interesting. Erin, one of your students who I'm really proud of, she's a girl out of Southern California.
Oh man, her and Joe, dude,
Yeah,
they're
her and Joe are great.
Incredible people.
So check this out. This was so great. So she's not trained on driving for deals, right? You don't teach people. I know, like, you talk about it and you know how to do it, but that's not what astro flipping is about.
It's not our main source of leads.
There you go. So it's not your main education. So Erin comes in and she's like, hey, I'm having a lot of fun with this. This is so cool. I love this community. And she tries driving for deals one day. So it's Thursday last week. And she makes 50 calls to sellers. And this is what she says to me. She goes, Pace, she comes in, raises her hand. There's 800 plus people watching this thing. And she goes, Pace, I've made 50 calls to sellers and I don't have any interested sellers. When should I quit? And I knew I'd get a smile out of Brent Daniels on this.
Oh man.
So she's like, well, I think I just need some motivation. I'm like, Erin, you don't need motivation. You just need to understand that you're on day 3 of a 30-day challenge. You're not even 10% of the way through. Like, you're basically asking me, hey, I've done 3 push-ups. When should I see definition in my arms? Like, that's not how this works. Right. So I give her the analogy of the lawnmower. Like, you know, she comes from a blue collar family, like a lot of us do, hardworking parents. If you mow your lawn, you see the results immediately. Real estate is not like that. Real estate's like mowing the lawn 90 days in a row and being frustrated for 89 days just to finally wake up on the 90th day and the lawn's been mowed. It's crazy. So I go, just be patient. So the next day she comes in, this is Friday of last week. She comes in and she goes, Pace, I have an interested seller. And I was like, isn't that interesting, Erin? And I go, let me just talk to the seller. And it's an area that I'm buying real estate. It's in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I have sub 2 deals in there that are Airbnbs. And I lock up the deal with her on the live. I'm buying the deal and I'm partnering with Erin just to show everybody on the live what it looks like to do a deal live. And that's day 4 of the challenge, right? And so it's just, we're not telling people how to do something. We're showing them how to do it. And starting tomorrow, Matt Beard and myself are going to go out in the field knocking doors on Zoom.
Amazing.
On Zoom. And I'm super inspired right now. A lot of what Brent has been doing for a long time of like, get loud, help people. Like, something that I learned, Brent Daniels opened his life to me. He invited me to a Wholesaling Inc. retreat like 3 years ago, 2 years ago, I think. And I go and I meet Tom Kroll for the first time in person. And Tom Kroll is like, our goal is to not just lead the horse to water, but to shove the water down the horse's mouth. Like, you have to give people so much value and you have to like make sure they are so accountable. And so we've done everything we possibly can. We've made sure that my students are on the phone calling these people sellers and squatting up with them, right? We're preaching it, but then we're doing it in actual action. So 67 contracts when I started the Zoom this morning, with all the, 800 people on there this morning, 700 people roughly. And I think we're well over 80 contracts right now in less than 8 days.
Ring it.
Yeah. And I imagine the contracts will get heavier and heavier and heavier because you know how it is. People are building their pipeline. There's a lot of people. This is the challenge though. The challenge is that there's people in this that are taking action that haven't gotten a contract yet.
Right.
And I really was like, I was hoping that we weren't going to come out of the gate just blowing contracts up and doing all that kind of stuff. I was hoping that it was going to be challenging for a couple of weeks. And so we could weed out the people that weren't serious and let people know like, hey, there are going to be times where you go talk to 100 sellers, 200 sellers, 500 sellers, and you don't get even a maybe. And then all of a sudden, the next day you get 3 contracts. Like, that's
how good God is, bro.
Huh.
You getting that result, that 67 contracts out the gate. Look, the people who would have given up, it's not their time to give up.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the time, guys. We are giving you, in fact, Pace, the team are giving you every reason not to be a bitch ass. That's it. Look, people need proof of concept, homie. You know that, right?
Yeah.
We all know that. That's what they require in order for them to continue moving. You gave 67 proofs of concept.
And
Okay.
shout out to the students. There's been Astro students in there helping. There's TTP students in there helping. Most of my sub 2 students most of the people helping are my sub 2 students, because they obviously knew about this. My battle cry for a week or two before we started the challenge was inside sub 2. I've got one student, Jeremy Davis, that has helped 5 people get 5 contracts. Brand new, never gotten contracts before. 5 people get their first contract in the first week. And obviously that's the vision. The vision is like, are you truly a leader if you can't turn other people into leaders, right? And that's the goal. I look at Brent Daniels, he's done it. At Jamil, I look at you, do it all the time. That's really our role here. And we're trying it as hard as we can. I told somebody on stage the other day, do you guys know what my biggest stress in the world is? And the answer in the audience was, your family, right? Your family. Go, no, my family's taken care of. Like, we got money, we got things, we're good. Like, the wife and I are perfect. Oh, it's time. I go, no, my stress is not time. I do what I want, when I want. I say what I want to who I want, how I want. I got the perfect life. It's not that. That's not what stresses me out. What stresses me out is I've got all this knowledge in my brain. And if I could just download it into your brain, you could be a multimillionaire if you just took action. And the only way to learn is to take action. So check this out. In the audience, there was a guy, his name was Martin. He raises his hand. Okay, this is on Saturday night. Raises his hand. He goes, Pace, can I have the microphone? He grabs the microphone, comes on stage, and he says, Pace, you did a ride along with me 3 years ago. And you took me on buy appointments. You took me to construction sites. You showed me what your office looks like. You broke everything down. That was a year and a half before I ever became a coach. I was just desperately trying to get people to understand how simple this business is. And I said, Martin, how many deals have you done since then? He goes, 0. I'm like, well, why? He goes, because you told me, Pace, when you dropped me off from that ride along, you told me I wouldn't be successful. And I go, I remember, Martin, tell the audience why I told you were going to be not successful. He goes, it really, really upset me. But now I understand what you said. It took me 3 years to realize it. My job is too comfortable for me to take action. I'm so comfortable in my regular life that I haven't taken any action.
I know exactly who you're talking about too.
Yeah, Martin Navarrete.
Yep.
So that's what this challenge is all about, is, taking, the torch that all of us are passing around to each other. It's like Brent elevates himself to his Wednesday live shows and all the things he's doing. And I tell people all the time, Brent was, for me, the gold standard for coaching for a very, very long time. And my job was to create anything that, if I was going to create, had to be at that level or have a vision above that for myself. And so everything we're doing is trying to improve the industry every single minute of the day. So everybody that's in the challenge, please light up the chat here and let people know like what they missed out on. Today, we locked it out. Nobody's allowed to get in there. And the reason why is because I can't go back and keep teaching people on day 8 what they should have already been taking action on for a week. Yeah. And so it's going to be released for free. All the recording is going to be released for free at some point. I'll just release it all for free. But right now, day 8 through day 30, we got 22 more days to go. And we're already at 80 something contracts in less than 8 days.
Well, you know what the secret sauce is here? The secret sauce is the whole point, the whole vision of this show. It's squatting up. That's the secret sauce of all of this, is squatting up. Listen, when you're trying to go out there and drive and find properties and then call people, and it's just you in your own thoughts, in your own head, and there's so many different avenues that you can take to avoid making these calls and really going towards your dream of being a full-time real estate entrepreneur or just building wealth. It's very difficult to do that alone. It's impossible. You have to squat up. You have to be around people. You got to get excited about it. This is a microcosm, that those 600 people that are in there, that's a tiny amount. There's 19 million real estate investors. All right. What are they doing differently to go and get all these deals so fast? They're squatting up. They're encouraging each other, and they're taking action. That's it. Like, squat up, find the people that have similar brains to yours, and like, love them. Just love them. Be around them. Connect with them. Be in their world. like see what they're doing and how they're doing it and participate. But it all starts with your ability to go out and take action. And listen, it takes 200 conversations on average around the country to get one wholesale deal. 200 conversations, not calls, not people you put into your app. It's actual conversations. So it just depends on how fast you want to go.
So one quick thing real quick. I'm gonna let people today, guys, we told everybody today, Monday is the last day we're gonna let anybody into the challenge. So today is your last day. I have the link right there. It's an AirMeet link. If you go to that AirMeet link, it's completely free. It has the first 5 days of recordings on Zoom, everything we talked about, all of our trainings, the calls with the sellers, me locking up contracts live, all of those types of things. Starting tomorrow, we're actually going to start having our students, the sub 2 students, start running the Zooms in the morning, so that you guys can see some of these students and you guys can see them locking up contracts for other non-students. I want to be like so open to the community that I'm so, and it's the same thing with Brent Daniels. It's the same thing with Jamil and your guys' coaching students, is we want our students to turn around and face the community and say, we're here as trained killers to get contracts for you. Come to us, squat up with us. And I want to encourage my students to become leaders of their own and mentors of their own and all of those types of things. So it's really, really fun to watch people. It's really fun to change people's lives, but it's very, very cool to watch other people change other people's lives, right? And this domino effect is basically out of control. So if you guys haven't signed up for the challenge, today is the last day for it, because I do not want to educate people on day 8 about things that they should have been doing on day 9 or day 1. So that's all I have to say about that.
By the way, exciting also, Pace, where are you going to be at 10 a.m. on Wednesday morning?
Oh, I'm going to be in the TTP studios. I'm going to be on your live show, which I've been really
and what are we talking about?
Pre-foreclosures, bro.
That's right.
Freaking pre-foreclosure.
Right, guys. I am telling you, 10 a.m. I want to mention this as many times as possible because it is going to be just the best show of the year. I'm telling you, Pace and I are going to deconstruct all the different ways that you can provide value to people that are in pre-foreclosure. Jamil, if you're around, if you're driving around in your beautiful Mercedes, pop on in. We can make this a whole thing. I don't know. I don't want to force you, but if you're around, pop on in. But listen, guys, 10 a.m. On this channel, on the Brent Daniels YouTube channel, we're going to blow this thing up, and it's going to be the real deal. It's not that fluff, clickbaity, pre-foreclosure type information. This is going to be the most incredible breakdown on how to work with pre-foreclosures of all time.
I have probably the most comments of any collab video I've ever done comes from that pre-foreclosure mastery video. People always call me and say like, dude, or DM me like, dude, that video like blew my mind. And I was like,
for clarity, guys, 10 a.m. Eastern or Pacific?
It is Pacific time. That is Arizona time, Pacific time. Sorry, 10 a.m.
10 a.m. Pacific, guys. So Al, you asked the question. That is the answer. So really though, no one should be DMing Pace, myself, or Brent ever again asking the question, how do I get started in real estate?
Yeah, I'm just gonna give them the 30-day challenge recordings and go, this is how you do it. And then what we're doing is I'm also giving a list of not my top 50 students, because I have hundreds and hundreds of amazing leaders in my mentorship, but I have about 50 students that are all like, I am willing to take calls from non-students asking really stupid questions, as long as they're going to submit leads to me and work leads with me. And so I'm giving away a Google sheet with my student's name on it. And people are getting that thing saying, oh my gosh, I found out there's a student literally lives 2 miles from me. And then 2 days later, they're driving for deals together. Like, that's how fun this challenge has been. We're going to be doing another challenge we're thinking about doing a challenge every quarter. It doesn't need to be 30 days. I'm going to do a challenge January 1st, I believe, where I'm going to raise private capital in 16 hours. So I'm going to find a deal and I'm going to fund the deal with an investor, a private money lender that I've never talked to before, by searching and finding that private money lender through tax records. And I'm going to call them and sell them on funding my deal. And I'm going to do that all within 16 hours. So I'm going to do more and more challenges like this. But guys, this honestly, from a basic newbie standpoint, being in a live challenge with people who are willing to make the calls to the sellers for you, lock up the contracts, and find the buyers for you, it's like a done for you challenge. And once the live is over, you're going to be watching pre-recorded videos, and it's just not the same. Just not the same.
Love it.
Beautiful. Let's open it up to the Q&A, guys. If you got any questions regarding wholesale, put them in the chat. We are ready to answer. Get them going. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I like that one. That one's great.
This is a really good one. I get people ask me all the time, like, where should I invest my money? I can tell you right now, if I had 120 grand and you challenge me to turn that 120 grand into $1 million by the end of the year, like cash million, I think the fastest way to do that would be to do fix and flips, personally. That's what I think, because we have a big fix and flip operation. Jamil has a big fix and flip operation. We obviously collaborate on a lot of stuff as well. And if you're doing, let's say that your average fix and flip makes $70,000 to $80,000 on a deal. I mean, you just do one deal a month, and you can use that 120 grand to do that deal, or even two deals, between the down payment and maybe, like, we have a lender that will do 90% of your purchase and 90% of your rehab for a 10% down payment. So you don't even need all that $120,000. You could go do two fix and flips at the same time. That's the fastest way to turn 120 grand into $1 million, in my personal opinion, in real cash. Now, in real like assets, you could be a multimillionaire in a year with 120 grand. Right. But what are your guys' thoughts, Jamil and Brent? What would you, if somebody gave you 120 grand today, how would you plan on turning into $1 million by the end of the year?
I'm in line with you, Pace. I think that when you're fixing and flipping, you catch a couple of wins in it, right? Because you're holding the property for the time that you're doing the work. So you're getting appreciation, and in a hot market like we just saw, like we're seeing right now. I mean, things are leveling out a little bit. We're not getting 10% a month appreciation like we've seen. Mm-hmm. But guys, I was over at Floor and Decor today, but trying to buy some floor. They're out.
Totally.
They're out. They're out of everything. Yeah. Everywhere is out of everything. Right. So nothing is stopping, guys. It's just going to continue to get worse. The market is going to continue to increase. Wall Street hasn't left. I think, Pace, flipping the money and leveraging it. Look, the highest risk way to do it would be to leverage that as deeply as possible, even to find, say, 100% lender like Frank West Capital is here in Arizona, mm-hmm. right? You find 100% hard money lender that'll pay 100% of the purchase. Think of this, Pace. They defer the payment till closing,
right?
Right. You take that 120 grand and you divide that into 4 projects.
Yeah.
That gives you $30,000 to pay for 4 This is risky. Okay. But 4 projects, all the payments get deferred for each of those projects until the deals close. And what does that look like? What's that return going to look like at the end of those 4 projects when they sell?
Insane. I mean, here's the thing is, like, before we get into Brent, because I think Brent's going to have maybe a different perspective. Whatever your resources are is going to determine your outcome, right? So your resources could be like, do I have the ability to wholesale as well? What I would be doing is there's so many different equations. I could do 3 fix and flips and make 300 grand, or I could do 45 wholesale deals and make 1.2 million, right? There's so many different ways to get that 120 grand. But the reality is, Brent might even go, I would go full wholesale. And he might even say, I don't even need the 120 grand. What's your answer, Brent?
Yeah, well, the first one you can do for free. And that is, if you want to have $1 million, you need to hang out with people that have $1 million, that think $1 million is just okay. That was like, baby money type thing, right? Like big thinkers, big personalities, big, just somebody that you're going to be around, and it's going to bring you up mentally, because you got to be mentally prepared to get to that million. There's a reason why only 1% or 2% of the population of the planet gets to that point, is because of the mindset first. So that doesn't cost you anything. 120 grand, I'd invest in people. I would invest in, I would lead the charge. I would be making calls. I'd be doing that as much as possible. And then I would probably have somebody that is pre-qualifying and keeping up with all the leads that I've got and just keeping it fresh and in front of them and giving them to me when they're ready to go on the appointment and get the deal locked up. But that's what I would do. I would invest my time with really amazing people that are providing a ton of value to the world, hence their return in income. And then two, I would invest in people in my company that are going to make me better and build a business as opposed to just a role in the business or a job.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I've got one more response for that.
Yeah, go ahead.
You go to somebody who's got $1 million cash, you give them a 10% return on their money. That's $12,000. That's $10,000 a month for 12 months. You get the $1 million for a year. Okay. You take that, you have your pause on $1 million in 12 months. And if you can't double it, just go away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep. Aaron's over here drinking some champagne.
Oh, let me see that pretty girl. Aaron.
Yeah.
Have you guys,
She's got
the
one of the
audience
best
hasn't
smiles
met
ever.
Aaron Daniels.
Hi,
Hi.
Aaron.
Best life over here.
Oh, I love that. Look at her. She's got her winter coat on and everything, like living it up.
Look at this thing.
Degrees.
Yeah.
That's Mrs. TTP, guys.
That's it.
How are you, Aaron? It's nice to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
You look lovely as ever.
Absolutely.
Great to
We've
see you.
got dinner in 29 minutes. I'm just giving everybody a countdown. Yeah.
Carlos Torres
what are you
says,
guys gonna go eat tonight, Brent?
I don't know. Some fancy place. I don't know.
some duck.
Yeah.
Carlos Torres says, can I hang around you guys? Guys,
Yes.
if you want to hang out with people that are doing big deals and big things, you know what you do? You bring them deals, you bring them value, you bring them things, right? You bring them resources, and they're like, man, one thing I can tell you, when I wanted to become Jamil's friend, I brought him every ounce of value I could get my hands on.
And every deal.
Bro, I made $5,000 today from Pace's value from 3 years ago.
What? What's that
Today,
story?
a relationship he introduced me to 3 years ago paid me $5,000 today.
Yep.
That's how long this is lasting. That's how long the value of the relationships, the people that he brought into my life, because he leads with value. That's what he does. This is the kind of man he is, right? So, and I did a deal with Jake Winters today, Pace. No lie, right? We made a quick 5K on it. Boom. And I'm just saying, guys, this is somebody that Pace could very well do deals with as well. But rather than hoard the relationship, what he does is he opens the door and says, work with, oh,
Yeah.
hi.
Look at this.
Guys, look at how she's
Mini
dressed.
Jamil. Mini Jamil. Yeah, pull that chain out, Jamil. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody in the audience doesn't know she's actually dressed up as Jamil for Halloween. She's got the baggy jeans. She's got the white. Hey, tell everybody, say, what's cracking?
The
What's
best.
cracking?
What's cracking?
Oh,
It's so good. Oh my gosh. Thank
So
you,
fun.
Pace. Thank you. Oh my God, that's too much.
People are loving that.
Yeah, how can you not?
She's doing so she's gonna come into the studio with Brent and I on Wednesday. We weren't gonna like talk about it, but you ran into her today, so the surprise has been spoiled. She's gonna come into Brent's studio at 10 o'clock, and we're gonna take a photo or do a little video and basically take her all over town to places that Jamil hangs out. And so my wife is gonna make like a TikTok about her being Jamil for the day. It's gonna be hilarious.
I
It's
love
so
it.
good.
I love it.
Oh my gosh. What a blessing. What a blessing. She's
we
a
go to
blessing
that-
in all of our lives. All right, what do we
Naran,
got here?
Rafai, I have a lead 21 unit portfolio on seller finance in Gainesville, Florida. How can we talk about this with you or your team? DM me right now, Maran. DM me right now. I'll buy that deal from you.
Moran's a TTP, so that's legit.
Hey, Maran,
Maran's
DM
been
me
crushing,
right now.
too.
I'll call the seller with you right now on the wholesale hotline. Let's freaking go.
Jody Faye just said she's looking for Marina Del Rey properties for me. And Jody, I appreciate that, but guess what? I got my beach house. We're going to close on Thursday.
You got it?
I'm very excited for that.
We close
one
on
in
Thursday,
Venice?
bro. Woo!
Is it
Hey,
in Venice?
he didn't close on
same
his
one.
house. He closed on our house, Brent. That's our house.
That's right.
That's the Wholesale Hotline. Guys, Wholesale Hotline now owns a beachfront property in Marina del Rey. We're going to have, dude, we got to have a meetup there. What we need to do is have a SoCal meetup on the beach in Marina del Rey right in front of the property, and then have everybody come over for orange juice and brownies.
I think you should call it the Hotline Hideaway.
Nice.
What do you
All
think?
day.
Couple things. Please, Bay Homes Properties. I have sub 2 deals in Las Vegas. I am a buyer in Las Vegas for sub 2 deals. I've got hundreds of thousands of dollars to spend right now before the end of the year. So send me deals. Anything in Vegas, anything in Florida, anything in Atlanta, Texas. I will buy sub 2 seller finance deals all day long. Bring them to me. If you need help for me closing them, I will close them for you. I will handle all the paperwork. I will handle all the transaction coordinating. I will handle the closing costs. I will pay you an assignment fee. Bring me the freaking deals. Okay. Here's a good one.
Yes, I do want to own the entire coastline, Jody. You're right. Find me the neighbor.
Brent Daniels, let's get some Q&A with you before you get going here in 20 minutes. Aurelian says, it's been 4 months since I signed the contract and it hasn't closed. Should I drop my attorney?
Well, it just depends on what they're doing. I assume they're doing their job and doing the title search. Maybe something's goofy on title that's taken some time to get fixed. So I would find out exactly what needs to happen to get it closed this week. I would ask that question. What would need to happen for us to close this week? Because time kills all deals. And the fact that your seller's been hanging around for 4 months, I mean, that's you did an incredible job, really helping somebody that wanted to make that decision. So our job is to make sure that the sellers get out of these properties as smooth and as easy as possible. So go back to your team, go back to your attorney, and see what needs to happen to get it closed this week. And go ahead.
Well, no, it just brings me to something that I think we should talk about is that, guys, there's a third aspect of deals that we quite often neglect. In fact, we don't really talk about it until we need to talk about it, but it's transaction coordinating, right? We had Rachelle Jarvis on Wholesale Hotline, guys. It was one of our most popular episodes we ever did. And here's the facts, okay? Yes, bringing a deal, getting a deal under contract is incredibly important. Selling that deal is incredibly important. Converting the seller is incredibly important. The 3 pillars here are incredibly important. But the fact is that 25% of deals fall apart at title.
Is that what it is?
25% of deals in our business model, because there's so much distress, because there's so many title issues, because there's liens, these deals fall apart. So think of that. All of that time, all that money, all that energy wasted. Guys, if you're not leveraging professionals for your transaction coordinating, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. Pace, how do people get in touch with Rachelle if they're in a situation where they need a professional to move the needle on their transaction? How do they do that?
You go to constantclose.com, reach out to Rachelle. I can give you guys Rachelle's email as well. Tell her you're from Wholesale Hotline. She'll give you $100 off, and tell her if you're a sub 2 student, if you're a sub 2 student, a TTP student, or Astro student, she'll give you $200 off. So reach out to Rachelle at constantclose.com. I called her like that the other day when I closed that deal with Aaron on the 30-day challenge. I called Rachelle right after. I go, hey, here's the seller's attorney was Bob Ray. I go, here's Bob Ray's information. Reach out. I've literally washed my hands of the deal. I'm not involved anymore. I'm on to the next deal. Right. So I just call Rachelle. She handles it.
An absolute beast.
We have Jonathan Newsom says it's he definitely sees that. Typically, they expect 30 to 35% of their deals unravel at title. Guys, this is a big thing.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Our deals are like 20%, I would say, for some reason. I don't know why. We've had a good stroke this year. We actually just talked about our KPIs a couple of weeks ago, but Cody came back, was like about 20% of our deals fall apart because of title issues. And they don't fall apart. Some of them we'll put on the back burner. We'll put a memorandum on the property and we'll wait for a lien to pop off, or we'll wait for something to happen, or wait for somebody willing to negotiate. We'll sit there on them. We have a deal that we contracted 2 years ago that just came back and resurfaced because of a lien falling off. Right. So it happens. And so it's not like, so you guys got to understand, don't get one-itis in this business. Go get the next contract. Right. So that was a good question. Aurelian, if your attorney has not closed the deal, Brent's question of what do we got to do to get this thing closed this week? Otherwise I got to move somewhere else is the right question to ask. Yeah. Maran, I'm dead serious. By the way, I put you in the side chat. I'm dead serious. I want that portfolio. DM me on Instagram right now. I'll drop off Wholesale Hotline to buy this deal.
He hasn't DM'd you?
I don't know. I haven't looked at my phone.
I'm sure he has.
Is he on it? Like
Maran's on it, bro.
He's on it like Blue Bonnet.
Yeah, he is doing it.
Maran, I don't see that. I don't see that DM from you, bro.
Oh,
you send it to me. I got you, bro. Don't worry. Just playing.
Maran, you better get, is that how you pronounce his name? Is Maran?
Yeah.
Okay.
He goes by Ron as well. So either way.
Ron, don't make me come through the screen and punch your lights out. Send me that deal right now. Let's go.
I think there was a good question there. He did. He DM'd you. There you go.
Oh, he said he did. Okay, I got it.
Let's get Jared Hernandez's.
I like this one. This is a great one, Jamil. What's your answer on that, bro?
Woo! I've had a bad experience with wholesalers.
Yep.
How do I overcome the challenge? I truly want to do it right and not burn anyone. Let me first and foremost say to you, Jared, the bad experience is a thing, right? You went through it, and no one's going to deny that somebody or whoever you were working with could have done a better job. They may not have been honest. They may not have been truth. They may not have been transparent. There could have been so many things that they did wrong. But let me tell you this. Every time in life, when I've made sweeping generalizations on any subject matter whatsoever, right? Any time where I've made a sweeping generalization, when I say wholesalers are bad, real estate agents are lazy, anytime you do that, right? Anytime you create, all you've done, brother, is create a concrete wall in your mind. In your mind, the prison exists nowhere else but in the head here, right? So what you first need to do, and again, this is going to be tough, but you've got to release and let go of that situation. That first situation doesn't serve you. There could be potentially millions of dollars at stake.
For sure.
If you can just remove yourself from that prison of limitation, right? Understand that. Secondly, compassion, my friend. Remember when you first started. Remember mistakes you made. Look back at transactions where you were involved and you could have done a better job. And that we've all done that. I can look back at transactions I've been involved in, and I can say that I could have been a better person in this deal, or I could have done better for a seller, or I could have done more for a buyer, or I could have done more for myself or my company, whatever that is. You have to treat people and situations with compassion. Understand that in most cases, people are doing their best with the information that they're working with. And oftentimes the information that people are working with is limited or incorrect. The reason Pace and Brent and I are doing what we do and why we're trying to elevate this industry and reframe people's opinions on what wholesaling is because we truthfully believe in our capacity to serve people, to serve sellers, to solve problems, to bring liquidity to situations that wouldn't have been able to be solved without it. So if you can approach it from that perspective of, you know what, one instance is not all instances, and second, a little bit of compassion, I think you'll get on the other side of that.
Yeah, I like what Ingrid just posted there. Hernandez, she said, yeah, there it is. That's fantastic. Exactly. And also, it goes back to attracting it, right? If you think that wholesalers are scummy and terrible, you're going to find scummy and terrible wholesalers. You truly will. If you see them as going out and serving a community that's not being served, and maybe you ran into one that just shouldn't be in this business, probably isn't in the business any longer, probably. Then and you just look for really great people. You're going to find really great people. You truly will. So that's awesome. Also, just a quick answer that short sale question. I don't like going after deals that are short sales, especially if they're listed. And you guys can certainly jump in on this, but it takes a long time to negotiate a short sale. They go through a lot of appraisal and what's called a BPO, a broker price opinion. So they get the full. I mean, they're looking at the value of this several different ways, and oftentimes they're going to put deed restrictions on that property, or at least some restrictions that say you can't transfer the ownership of that property for a minimum of 90 days.
And what happens if you do, Brent?
Well, I mean, first of all, it's going to be recorded on there, so the title company won't even let you. They'll see that there's deed restrictions or something there, but they could. I think that they could sue you, or they could come after.
The federal government can knock on your door with the windbreakers and haul your little pretty butt to prison.
Right. Well, and the reason for that is back in the day, back in 2009 and 10, short sales, people were literally negotiating them for nothing. There was no departments with the banks. The bank approved everything, and people were getting deals for like, $500,000 deals. I know a guy that got a $500,000 deal off of a short sale, 100,000. So the federal government stepped in and really shut that down and really reviews it. So, yeah.
We have a friend of the show who's an incredible person when it comes to short sale negotiation. Nicole Espinoza, guys, if you don't know her, look her up. She's the short sale queen. She's the best in the business at this. I would say second to her or sitting on the throne, but the man version of it would be Matthew Potter out of Phoenix, Arizona. Another incredibly generous individual who's great at short sales. Look up both of these people and work with them.
Awesome.
I actually had a thought. I was like, why haven't we brought on Matt Potter to talk about short sales? I brought him into my mentorship.
Let's get Harry Potter on the show next week.
He's phenomenal, dude. He came in my mentorship for like 4 hours about 6 months ago, and he's been like locking up short sale deals all over the country with my students.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. Can we get Carl Hall on here?
Yes, sir. We sure can. I like this question. It's a good one.
This is great. This is one of the toughest parts, Carl. This is everything. This is like not only you, but once you grow this thing, Carl, and you start hiring acquisition managers and they close big deals and get big checks, it's like, oh my gosh, are they going to ever work again type of thing, right? It's a total mentality. You have to like almost press a reset button on your brain and start every day at zero. And it sounds like really difficult or, but zero opportunities, zero money in your bank, zero deals pending, zero opportunities. You have to go out and you got to hunt and you got to hunt and you got to hunt and you got to find that. So what I would just say is you got to trick yourself, start it at zero and just really just go out. And I'm telling you, if you get really good at this, you are going to be unstoppable and grow an incredible business that is really evolved and surrounded with proactive activities because everybody's going to like feed off of the way that you work. So not only is this something that is just something for you to work on, but for the future, it's such an incredible skill to be able to keep pushing and inspiring your people to start over every single day.
My strategy was I stopped counting.
Yeah.
I just stopped counting what was in I stopped looking. I don't care. I don't.
You just can't count that high, Jamil. Once it gets over, several million, you just,
But even in the beginning, though, even in the, my first check, my first wholesale deal, somebody had to tell me if I didn't cash that in 6 months, it was going to expire. I walked around with a $48,000 cashier's check in my wallet for months.
Was that wallet sitting in your cargo shorts? What were you wearing?
Oh, yeah.
I was in Canada. I was in snow pants.
Okay. An Eskimo suit?
Yes.
Yeah. Nat reached out to me. Jamil said that I'm pretty close to her hometown here. I'm up here.
Are you?
Yeah. I mean,
you're in Coeur d'Alene. Yeah. She was 10 minutes north of the border.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome.
Okay, here we go. This is good. Serge says, if you are a one-man show, no deal yet, no business ID. Did you guys already answer this?
Nope.
I was texting Ron. I'm so sorry. How do you we're going to lock that deal up. It's a $1.7 million portfolio where Rachelle's going to call the seller and send a contract.
Seems like a good price for 21 units.
Well, it's Gainesville, Florida. They have alligators living in them, paying $42 a month in rent
with no down.
Well, I'm not going to beat up Ron. He's not a creative finance guy. He hasn't asked the question. He hasn't asked the seller all the appropriate questions to get all the information. So I think there is going to be a down payment. There's going to be some stuff. Ron's made some assumptions based on the conversation, but the fact is he's phenomenal at talking to people. I wonder where he got that from. And secondly, he's got to just go ask the seller a couple more questions. Anyway, Serge says, if you are a one-man show, no deal yet, no business ID, how do you respond if buyer requests for social proof? A buyer requesting social proof.
I'm sure. I think you mean seller.
Seller? Then
I would assume
I would squat up with somebody else like me or Jamil or Brent or one of our students in our program. I mean, between all of our students, we have thousands of students that have websites and LLCs and rental properties and fix and flips going on and all sorts of stuff. So I would absolutely, Serge, the question I would be asking in the side is I would be asking, who is in this area where I live and who can I be friends with? Who would be willing to squat up with me and be my friend? I'll bring value to you, right?
Yeah, your error is in the first thing you said there, Serge. One-man show.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Nothing else
thing.
is the problem.
Yep.
One-man show is the problem. Fix that, you fix it all.
Perfect.
Here's a good question. I like this one. Jamil, you want to take this one?
How do you do a fix and flip with other people's money? Great. I'm in a ton of those deals, right? So I've got lots of situations where we have investors that have other jobs, they're comfortable, but they make money. Here's the thing, guys. The stock market is volatile. Cash in the bank is depreciating. A depreciating asset. Cash in the bank is a depreciating asset, just like buying a new car. Sucks, right? So what you do is you explain to them how you're going to, you need to have had some track record, right? Very, very rarely will someone just write you a check to fix and flip a property if you don't have a track record. Now, if you don't have a track record, partner with somebody who has a track record for your first few deals. Get into bed with somebody who's got a track record that's doing this right. Bring the money to the situation, right? So go find somebody who's doing good fix and flips in your market. Bring the private capital to that person and say, hey, we're going to partner with you and you're going to do the work and we're going to bring the money and I'm going to be observing this and I'm going to be learning from both sides and we're going to get a return for my private money lender and I'm going to take a little piece of that. Even if I don't take a piece of it the first couple of times, it's fine. Let me learn. So that's how you do it. Carmen, the way that I like to do it, and I structure mine differently than Pace, right? Pace will structure his when he's doing a private money deal and he's doing a fix and flip. He's just going to give them a percentage return. He's going to give them like 10% on their money or 12% on their money. And that's better for Pace, right? It's better because he maximizes his profitability. The people that I take money from, I'm not finding them on deeds of trust. They're my friends and family. And I don't go and get money from the world. I get money from just my friends and family because I like seeing them get blessed. I like seeing them get crazy returns.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'll do is I'll say to them, I'll find the property. You bring all the money to the table. You close the deal. You pay for all the construction. We'll do the fixing. And when we sell it, we'll split the profits 50-50. That's how we do it. It's a little bit, you're going to give away a lot more going 50-50 than you will giving somebody 10%. But it depends on the relationship.
Also, I mean, Carmen, get a deal. Find a smoking deal that you can bring to somebody that has some funds that they want to place somewhere and say, hey, listen, we could buy this for $140,000. Look at all these comps at $250,000. If we put $35,000 to $40,000 into this property, we can make a profit of $55,000 or whatever and split it. Like, bring real stuff. Don't just bring hopes. You know what I mean? Bring like a real deal to the table and you will find money for it. I am telling you, it is like in this market, you find a discounted property, you can find money for that deal.
Here's what I did for a couple of TTP students. Still, I have 3 flips right now going on right now with TTP students. Okay. So TTP students bring us deals here local in Phoenix. And they're like, we want to make more than an assignment fee because we want to learn. So what we do is we put them into our Slack channel. We show them exactly how we communicate. They get to go out with Anna. They get to learn all these things out on construction projects, but they bring the deal to us. And their first deal, we fund the entire transaction. We run the transaction. We sell the house. We run everything. You don't have to worry about anything. And we give you 30% of the transaction, 30% of the net. If you get to a third flip with us, then we bump you up. And so we have multiple flippers or multiple people that flip houses with us that have literally never had to hire a contractor. They've never had to raise private capital. They've never had to worry about a construction estimate or what goes wrong in a negotiation with a buyer, Benzers, or any of that kind of stuff. Bring deals to fix and flippers. We will fix and flip with you, and we will let you participate on the back end. One of our best buyers in town taught us that. His name is Frank Kelly. He's amazing. He's a great buyer. He'll buy the weirdest deals in like the outskirts. He tries to play around in the outskirts, like up in the mountains and stuff. And he would pay us a small assignment fee up front, like $4 or $5 grand. And then he would give us 25% of the back end of his fix and flips and let us stop by the property anytime we wanted. Like, guys, there's so many ways to be successful in real estate. It's unbelievable. You need people like us to give you the ideas, and then you go put it in motion.
That attitude right there by Jared, that's it.
Who, Jared Franklin?
I want to help. That's it.
Jared Franklin is
you want every door open for you. You want to be around successful people and build a successful business. Those 4 words right there. Incredible. I want to help.
Love that.
I'm just telling you. And by the way, he's done a lot of deals, so you should want his help. Anybody
I mean, Jared Frankham is one of those guys that's like a ultimate go-giver. He's a TTP alumni. He's a TTP leader. He's somebody who's I know he's like showing people how to drive for deals right now in North Carolina live.
Yep.
He like went to a brand new market. Jared is one of those guys that like is totally inspirational.
He's the next generation, bro. He's the torch. We're not going to be on this soapbox forever. There guys like Jared, people like you, the people in the comments. The Wholesale Hotline will be yours one day.
Yep.
Here's Christy P8. This is going to be Brent Daniels' last question he's going to answer because he's got to go to dinner. Is it a common thing to show up with flippers, contractors to help with on-site work to gain more info faster, or is that frowned on?
Well, it just depends. Go back there real quick. Sorry. Is it common to show up with the flippers?
I think she means to like when you're going to a seller appointment.
Well, if you've already locked it up, then that's part of your.
No. What they're saying is like, can I go and work physically on the job site to gain more information? And I would say that is frowned upon only because they don't want to slow down. They have crews, right?
Yeah, no. They don't want you there. They don't want you there like that.
They don't want to put insurance on you. You know what I mean? Like, no, just go there and see who bought it and see if they want to buy more in the street, and then go to all the ugly houses on that street, knock on the door and ask them if they would consider an offer on their property. That'd be a better use of the time.
Brent, let's get you out of here before we get into another.
I love you guys. Tangent. You guys are the best.
Love you, brother.
Thank you so much. Have a great rest of the show. And we'll see you guys Wednesday, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Pace Morby breaking down how to effectively help people that are in pre-foreclosure. It's going to be absolutely bananas. I'll see you there. See you guys. Love you.
Later, brother. Have a good dinner.
Love you.
It's just you and me.
What's up, dog?
That microphone sounds crispy, dog.
Am I? Do it? Yo.
Yeah, it sounds really good. Sounds really, really good. Here. Ooh, all right. There's a couple of really good questions in here. Jamil, Serge asks a great question. Will you read that out loud and answer?
Love this question. Serge asks, should you always, in capitals, go check the property condition before you give an offer, or always estimate? Serge, I might be different from other people in my response here, but absolutely not. Never go look at the property first. Get an understanding. Here's how we do it at Keegley. If my people went out and looked at every single freaking house that we had an opportunity on, we would never do deals. You want to try to get as much information from the seller as possible on the phone. Right now, I'm telling you, some are going to say, go to the house, sit down with them on the couch, get into a conversation, and that also will work, right? That'll also work. But for speed, for volume, I don't think that it's time efficient to get to every single house to look at it before you're giving an offer. These sellers, believe me, they are going to take the first offer that they feel comfortable with, that's with somebody that built rapport, and a lot of that's going to happen over the phone. You might waste time scheduling yourself to get out to a seller appointment to go physically view the property. In the meantime, Pace is going to call them and get that deal locked up 2 days before you show up to the appointment. What do you think about that?
That is correct. T-Town Supreme has asked this 3 or 4 times, so thank you for being patient, T-Town Supreme. Pace, how does your JV department do repeat business with investors more than once without them going around them? Okay. I think this could be 2 scenarios that you're asking. Somebody brings a deal to me and I wholesale it to my buyer. Or I bring a deal to a wholesaler and they wholesale it to their buyer. Either way, it's kind of the same answer. The reality is this industry is very small and word gets around very, very quick in our town. We have a blacklist between all of us successful investors that we just simply don't do business with those people. And for me, I am so grateful when somebody burns me. I am so grateful for it. It is the greatest filtering mechanism I have ever experienced because the universe is saying, get out of Pace's life. It's better for me to learn that now than it is for me to learn that in a year from now, because I've been in relationships where the universe was smacking me in the face, telling me, get this person out of your life. And it took me 4 years and I lost millions. So the answer is when somebody burns you, thank them, be grateful to them, look at it as a gift from the universe and wish them well on their way and never let that person back in your life. It will happen. I'm telling you, it will happen and you should be grateful for it.
The other thing, T-Town Supreme, that you can do is build better relationships with your people. Look, I've got buyers that if you even tried to do business with them, they wouldn't work with you. They wouldn't work with you. They work with my own team can't work with these people. And my team have buyers like that as well. Right? So the fact is that if you can build good relationships with your buyers to a point where they trust you, where they trust your word, your ARVs are right. You always respond. You're quick. They trust you. They love you. You care about, you don't have a transactional relationship with them. You have a deep relationship with them. You call them about things outside of, hey, do you want to buy this deal? That's how you do that.
Couple of good questions here. Jamil from Lisa McKinney. She's great. She asks great questions frequently. Jamil, how do you know what to offer if you haven't been in the property, not knowing renovations needed?
Beautiful, Lisa. So I put properties into three categories if we're going to get really specific, but mainly cosmetic remodel, full gut remodel, and tear down. That's it. Okay. Now, all I need to know from the seller when I'm talking to them on the phone is, can you give me an understanding of the condition, the general condition of your house? Is there a giant hole in the roof? Is there black mold growing up your walls? No? Great. Then it's very likely going to be a cosmetic remodel. When did you buy the house? In the 70s? Okay. You haven't done any remodeling since? No, but you fixed the AC. The roof's been repaired on and off and you have no active leaks. Great. Cosmetic remodel, right? So I put houses into buckets. Is this a cosmetic or a full gut or a tear down? And then depending on the market, I know what percentage of ARV I need to buy that house at, and I will never have to walk that house. It's true. Pace sees me do it day after day. Thousands of houses, guys. I bought thousands of houses. I can estimate a rehab in my mind just knowing the square footage and if it's a cosmetic or a full gut remodel. So close that Pace and I had a contest, and I was within a few $100s of his estimate.
Here's the contest. Let me give context because this is a good contest. Jamil and I fly to Atlanta. We're at Max Maxwell's event. We're speaking, and we had a break in the action. And we had Ask Ty, the flip man, with us. And so we're like, hey, let's go venture into Atlanta because Jamil and I love that city. It's an amazing city. And Jamil's franchise does a lot of business there. And Jamil's corporate company was doing a lot of business there at the time as well. Still do. So we fly out there. I go, Jamil, why don't we go to buy one of your houses, just kind of see what's going on? He's like, oh, yeah, that'd be great. I rarely ever go to my houses all over the country, but let's go. So what we do is we go, let's do like an Instagram live, or let's do some sort of video talking about renovation repairs.
Right.
And I go, all right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to beat Jamil's ass because I've been a contractor for 10 freaking years. And Jamil, he ain't no contractor. Shit. Right? So what we do is we go through the property. Jamil literally doesn't even leave the living room. Doesn't even go through the whole house. He's just sitting there in his living room, already done. He's like, I already know my number. I go, okay, well, I got, I can't remember how much time you guys gave me, 5 minutes or something. So I go through the house. I got my calculator. I'm calculating everything. I take 5 full freaking minutes. And I come back to the living room and I go, this is going to be a $35,000 renovation from a contractor who's done 7,000 renovations. And Jamil goes, turns his phone and he goes, $35,200 and something dollars. Whatever the number was, it was within a couple $100. Okay. And the reason being is because Jamil has perfected 3 categories, right? He just told you what those are. And he takes those categories, whatever it is, and he multiplies it by the square foot. And he comes up with a really, really close estimate. And the reality is if Jamil was off $5,000 plus or minus, it doesn't make or break the deal. $5,000 does not make or break a deal. Right? Yep. So Jamil was off $200 and I was like, how did you get that number? Were you cheating off of me? And the reality is he's done this so many times, right? You guys have heard of the 10,000 hour rule. You become an expert when you've done something for 10,000 hours. Jamil has been doing this since 2002. OMG. Back when cargo shorts were the shit. So that's the answer to the question. So really, really good. Medium wave Dave. I love Dave so much. I'd love to see Dave again in person. We got to get to the Northeast, bro. We got to get to New York or something. And
I want to go to Boston so bad too.
Yeah, me too.
New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Rhode Island. Bro, we got to go to the Northeast. Oh, I'm jonesing to go to the East Coast.
Yeah, me too. I feel like now it's like starting to get to the cold part of the year. We're going to be in North Carolina. Anybody that's in North Carolina, please pay attention. Jamil and I have some travel dates coming up. We're going to be flying into Durham, North Carolina on October 30th. We're going to stick around there for a couple of days. We're meeting some other TV stars on the A&E network, and we're going to kind of buddy around with them in North Carolina for a day or two. We're going to do some trick-or-treating, maybe do some fun things there in Durham and Raleigh. And we're going to do a pop-up. So guys, we'd love to do a pop-up and see you out there. If you're in Durham, Raleigh, or with maybe a couple of hour drive away from there, we are working on a date. It's going to be something, I don't know, Jamil, what do you think the date is that we're going to end up doing that?
November 1st.
Okay. November 1st, we're doing a pop-up. Do you think we should do in Raleigh or Durham?
Raleigh.
Because it's a bigger town?
Yes.
Cool. So Raleigh, November 1st. And then we're going to stick around in North Carolina and just kind of hang out with our wives for a couple of days. And then what we're going to do is we're going to fly to Birmingham, Alabama. As you can see right here, Champagne Howard says, I'll see you in Birmingham. That's going to be on November 4th. And that's going to be at Brian Tripp's event. I don't think we're going to have time for a pop-up in Birmingham, but we want you guys to come to the event and see Jamil and I speak. That would be great. And then the next day, Jamil and I are going to be flying to Miami. Jamil's going to be on the Wolf of Wall Street's podcast on November 5th, which is super dope.
How fun.
And yeah, it's going to be great.
Thank you.
We were trying to coordinate it in LA, and then he moves to Miami. And then he was so excited to have Jamil on the show. He's like, bro, just come out to Miami. Whenever you're in Miami, let me know.
He just got married too, didn't he?
He just got married.
Incredible.
So he's in Miami. Jamil's going to be on the show. So we're going to fly out there. And then we're probably going to do a meetup on November 6th, maybe November 5th in Miami. And then after that, pop up in Miami, like West Palm area. We're going to drive up the coast to Orlando. We're going to meet 2 more TV show stars, the people that are on Zombie House Hunters on A&E. We're going to meet them in Orlando, and then we're going to do a pop-up event in Orlando. So if you guys are within a couple of hours of Orlando, that's going to be November 7th or 6th or 7th, probably the 7th, I would imagine. And we're going to do a pop-up there. Then Jamil and I are going to come home for 4 or 5 days, and we're going to immediately go back out to Vegas for like 4 or 5 days. We're going to hang out with Ryan Pineda. We're going to hang out with Brad Lee. We're going to hang out another couple of events and do some collaborations with some other YouTube people talking about fix and flips and creative finance and wholesale and all that kind of stuff. So guys, we'd love to see you in Vegas during that week of November 13th through the 16th. So those are the dates. Hopefully that helps out. Let's get back into some Q&A. T-Town Supreme, Pace. How is the private plane lessons going? Great. Did our second lesson the other day. So I'm super happy, super grateful for the opportunity. Medium Wave Dave was like, I was almost going to fly to Birmingham to surprise you. Dave, I'd rather you come.
Do it.
I'd rather you come. Oh, actually, he's working the Birmingham market. That's why he was saying that. Bro, we'd love to see you there. I'd love to hang out with you. The problem is we wouldn't be able to hang out with you long, unfortunately, because we're flying out that night.
Right.
Christina Solara says, I'm going to hug you, see you, and rally. That's going to be amazing.
We can't wait, Christina.
Very, very cool. Okay. Steve Anderson, Jamil's got you got a great question, Jamil.
Steve Anderson, thanks for the question. He says, Jamil, when you're looking at each market, how are you calculating what percentage of ARV you need to be at? Some new markets coming up would love your insight. I appreciate the question, Steve. This is how I do it. Painstaking data searching. I'm looking at cash transactions, and I'm taking all that information and I'm aggregating it so that I can get an average of what percentage of ARV are cash transactions trading at for that market. Now, what I found is there's trends. There are high appreciation, high demand markets where people can buy at a higher percentage of ARV. And then there's low appreciation, low demand markets where most of the activity is buy and hold activity, and people are looking for a specific multiple or return on their investment as a buy and hold. So I look at what the cash transactions have been at. I look at what type of market it is. And then just based on that data, we determine what percentage of ARV that market will be for a cosmetic and what percentage of ARV that market needs to be at for a full gut and what percentage of ARV that market needs to be at for a teardown. And that's it.
Love that. Jamil, I really like this question. And I just got a text message from somebody saying, who's the Houston franchise owner? And so if you don't mind, as you're talking to Juan about this question, would you mind getting into a moment about how, if I'm anywhere in the country, how do I find a franchise owner that I'm around?
Pace, would you do me a favor and put this in the chat and publish it on the screen? Jesse, yes. Jesse at Keegley.com. If you want to find a franchise in your local market, this is the man to email. Jesse at Keegley.com. Jesse at Keegley.com, and he will open the door, make an introduction for you to the franchise in your market. Jesse at Keegley.com. Now, Juan's question was, what's the rundown on what Keegley is all about? Juan, what Keegley is all about is we are your disposition superstore. We are the people that have relationships with buyers all across the country. Cash buyers that fix and flip, cash buyers that buy and hold. So Juan, the reason why Keegley exists is because when I was first getting started in wholesale, I saw so many amazing wholesalers get really great deals under contract and then be unsuccessful in selling that deal. Then what would happen is they'd cancel that deal. And then that seller would have a bad taste in their mouth on what it was like to work with an investor. And we saw that happen over and 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 over again, to the extent that we created a company that solved that problem. And so not only did that problem get solved, but it got solved so successfully that we've been able to franchise Keegley across the country. We're in 90 plus markets now, helping wholesalers sell their deals across the country. So Juan, if you're looking for somebody to help you with a buy number, to let you know what you should be contracting a property at in order for it to be an actual deal, if you need help with finding a buyer, reach out to Jesse at Keegley.com to find out who the respective Keegley franchise in your market is and make a relationship.
Love that. Great answer. Christina Solar says, I hope all 190 viewers realize how much value is here right now, live in front of you. Don't overthink, just do take massive action. So Christina, you are in my YouTube. You're on Pace Morby's YouTube. We have about 190 people over there, but collectively we have about 400 live viewers right now watching between a couple of different YouTubes and Jamil and my Facebook group. So people are kind of scattered around. I wish in a perfect world we just had one Wholesale Hotline YouTube, but that would be too hard and nobody would manage it. So it's better just to kind of have it all on three of ours. But yeah, about 400 people in here for you guys to squat up with. Okay. Amazing, amazing stuff. Patricia says, I have a prospect for probate. The house has a sinkhole underneath it. Does this need to be a tear down? No, not exactly. No. A sinkhole. So in Arizona, we don't run into too many sinkholes. Our ground here is
did
clay.
in Lemon.
That's true. That is true. They're not too big. Like our sinkholes are pretty rare here. There's other areas like Houston. You'll have a lot more flooding and like sinkholes in those areas. A lot more water issues. And the answer is there's such great and amazing technology nowadays with people coming in underneath the concrete and either pumping it up with foam or backfilling it or what have you. Depending on the market you're in, Patricia, there are amazing technologies available that are actually very cost effective. So the answer is no, it wouldn't really make sense to tear down a house that just has a sinkhole underneath it. So depending on how big it is, I would just get a sinkhole, a company that handles that. They are out there, and actually they're pretty prevalent. Ooh, Champagne Howard. Jamil, when somebody sends you a deal, wholesaler sends you a deal, do you run away from the foundation issues?
No. I run towards them. I run towards foundation issues. They're amazing, right? Because so many people get scared by them. But the most I've ever seen a foundation crack cost 38 grand. I mean, all it becomes is a line item on a budget. That's it. Now, for the most part, most people overestimate how much a foundation issue is going to actually cost. Now, since we know that the maximum I've seen a foundation issue cost me is 38 grand, that's great armament for my negotiations with my seller. However, when I'm turning and I'm talking to my buyer, I can explain to them that, you know what, foundation issues aren't nearly as terrible as you might think they are. Sometimes, little step down cracks that you see on a wall, that could just be epoxied over. You just fill that with epoxy. Yeah. Right. Some of these foundation issues don't even have big fixes to them. Sometimes you got to jack up the property. It really depends on how bad it is. But no, Champagne, never run away from that. Run towards it and find the solution for the seller. See, that poor seller, they think that they're going to get completely squeezed out of their house because they've got this foundation issue. If you can make a relationship with a great foundation company in your local market here in Arizona, it's called Ramjack. I've got a relationship with them. If I need them to come out and do a foundation quote for me, they'll do it in a matter of days. So make a relationship in your specific market with a company that does foundation repair and have them go out and see that.
Yeah, it was like my third deal I ever did. Okay, ever. I go to this appointment with the seller and she's like deathly afraid of her foundation in Arizona. And I'm a contractor for 10 years. Okay, so here's what happens. I go there, I go on the appointment knowing she's like deathly afraid of this foundation. She feels like the house is going to fall in on her, all that kind of stuff. And I walk in there, I'm like, I didn't say anything. I go, show me the foundation issues because I'm looking at the house from the outside and it doesn't look like there's any issues. And I'm like, okay, very interesting. Got it. Did you get a quote from somebody or like who told you why this is so bad? Turns out a foundation repair company came in and told her that it was an $80,000 repair.
Wow.
And I said, no problem. I didn't argue with her. I didn't say I could do it cheaper. I didn't say that they were right and didn't say they were wrong. I just said, sounds great. What price are you looking for? We ended up locking the deal up. I ended up flipping that deal and making like $120,000 because
And what did the foundation repair actually cost you?
Probably $800. Crazy. Wow. Crazy. So, yeah, you'll get that because a lot of these companies are out there, they're trying to sell their services and charge a lot of money for it. It's kind of the same thing with like water damage and mold, people make a really big deal out of mold because they're like, oh, I got to tear out all the drywall. I got to do all this stuff, guys. It's very easy to eradicate mold. This one's a really good one. Jamil, you want to answer this one? I'm going to pull up a house and do a screen share real quick. Do you have an answer for this one?
Christopher M asked, do you or did you take distressed properties that is fronting the main road or avoid it? Christopher, I will work those deals all the time. I just have to make the appropriate adjustment for it, right? So houses that front a main road or back a freeway or side a main road, you just have to adjust for the traffic. Now, in price points $350,000 or less, that adjustment could be anywhere between $10,000 to $20,000. Okay, fronting a major road under $350K, about a $20,000 hit. Siding or backing a major road, about a $10,000 hit. So that's it. Not that much of a hit. In lower price points, traffic isn't as terrible as in luxury price points. Now, when you get over 500,000, that's when traffic becomes a little bit of a larger hit. So we go from $10,000 to $20,000 in a haircut to 10 to 20%. Okay, so think of that. If I have a $500,000 house and it fronts a major road, I got to take 20% off of my ARV, which is about $100,000, right? So in lower price points, $10,000 to $20,000, depending on if you're fronting, siding, or backing traffic, and on luxury price points, okay, you're going to take 10 to 20% off.
All right, so you see this house, 747 South Mesa Drive. Jamil, you want to pull this up maybe on Zillow and see what I sold this for?
Yeah, love to. 747 South Mesa?
Yeah, we made like $130,000 on this flip. And it's on Mesa Drive. This is like, well, I did a video. I actually stood on this roof right here, okay? I stood on this roof and I did a whole video about how crazy loud this entire
you sold that house for $310,000.
What do you think it's worth today?
It's worth about $400,000 today.
Crazy. That wasn't even a year ago. If we just sat on that for like another 6 or 7 months, we would have made another $90,000.
So Pace bought the house for $100,000. Okay. He buys the house for $100,000. And they wait a little bit. Then he fixes it up, and he lists it at $299,000. I'm just reading the transaction history, guys. He listed at $299K, and they sell it very quickly over list at $310,000. Actually, it wasn't super. Did you have it fall out of contract once?
I don't remember.
I think it fell out of contract one time, and then it went under contract immediately again. And it went under contract at $10,000 over list, and it sold at $10,000 over list. So you got $310,000 on that deal. Incredible.
Yeah, and we put $40,000 into it. So we bought it for $100,000, put $40,000 into it. Obviously, had hard money costs and utilities and closing costs and all that kind of stuff, and ended up selling it for $310,000. Made well over $100,000 on 8. Can you believe I bought that house for $100,000 in Mesa on Mesa Drive though?
Do you get a little sad that you sold it?
I do get sad that I sold that. But the thing is, if you look at the house, the driveway, in order to get in and out of your house, you have to pull out into Mesa Drive, which is freaking freeway.
That's brain damage.
Horrible. And so the answer, guys, yes, just yes, absolutely. You just got to buy them right all day long. We made $120,000 net in our pockets on that deal.
The only deals that I don't do are when the land's not owned. I won't do mobile homes where the land is leased or like it's a lot rent, and I don't do land leases. What about you, Pace? Do you mess with those?
I will only do a land lease if I own the land. So
you'll like never buy on a 99-year land lease, right?
No, I would never do that.
Yeah,
I would never do that. We if like a mobile home that does not own the land, that's called a car. Okay, it's literally their vehicles and they're registered with the DMV. They're not real estate. However, if you own the park and you own the dirt in which they're renting, then yes, all day long I'll do those deals because I don't own the mobile home. I just own the dirt, and those people are renting my dirt. Somebody asked me like a month ago, "What do you do for a living?" I go, "I rent dirt." And they go, "What? You rent dirt?" I go, "Yeah, it's great. I rent dirt. That people pay me monthly for my dirt." So
Brent,
yeah, I'll do
sorry.
those deals.
Pace, could you put the air meat link up again? We've got people asking for the challenge link.
Yeah, I will. And what I want to do is I want to do a really quick screen share of this, because what happens with this is people think that the link doesn't work. So I'm going to be very, very like annoying for a second. And I'm going to show you guys how easy this is. Okay. We're going to do a little screen share. People, I swear to you, one of the reasons why people can't be successful in life is because they can't figure out links and like their email. So guys, see my Google thing, my Google Chrome. I'm going to copy and paste the link in there. It's going to go to the AirMeet. It's going to show you that it's loading. Here it is right here. Come on, baby. It's checking in with my browser. Okay, cool. And analyzing your network settings. Boom, here we go. And here
sign
I am.
Up. Go sign up.
I'm in the challenge.
Go sign up. If you haven't signed up, go sign up.
It's very simple, guys. Very simple. Okay. So if you guys are trying to get in the challenge, we are locking out that AirMeet tonight. And today is your last day to be in the challenge. The challenge is going on another 22 days.
Eddie has a great point, though. In hot markets like we're in right now, houses on busier roads are still selling. And we just saw that on Lemon Street, didn't we?
Oh, yeah. Lemon Street was like, you broke 5 or 6 rules on Lemon Street. One of them being that the house was on a freaking busy ass street and it sold.
Surrounded by multifamily and commercial. It backed a church and it fronted a multifamily, sided a multifamily, and sided the busiest road in Tempe, Arizona.
Hey,
and
Jared
for
Frankham.
$25K over list.
Jared Frankham, just real quick, I want to tell you something, and I'm sorry to tell you this, but if you are using Deal Machine, you are not allowed in the challenge. What we're doing is that we are letting people in the challenge, and then once you're in the challenge, we send the link to people that are using the Batch Driven app through Batch Driven. So you're going to have to sign up with Batch Driven. I would love to have you in the challenge, but the reason we're not doing Deal Machine is because I don't want to teach people how to use Deal Machine. It's not that I'm against Deal Machine. It's just that's not what we use. And a lot of people have questions on like how to do this and how to do that. And I don't want to answer 5 different people's questions about 5 different apps. So we're just sticking to one app all the way through. So I would love to have you in the challenge because I know all you do is driving for deals. It would be amazing to have you in there. But I know you're a Deal Machine guy, so you're going to have to come to the dark side.
Oh, he's been communicating with Evo about it. He uses Batch Driven now.
Jared's he does. Okay, he says he's helping Evo with it. Amazing. Thank you. Bro, I'd love to have you come in there, and I'd love to have you actually come into the live for a little bit. And
hey, people should be able to figure this out, but AirMeet is notorious with issues on Safari. So if you're having issues, download Chrome because might be a problem.
Yes, love that. Thank you, brother. That's really good information.
Oh, I got left hanging. See there, guys?
I thought you were waving me.
No.
Raphael says, Pace, very good information. Ideas on how to avoid down payment when doing owner financing. Raphael, go to Sunday Service on my YouTube channel, and you can go look up my Sunday Service episodes on seller financing and zero down deals. We call them unicorn deals. I share a lot of recordings from my students and also myself on how to negotiate with a seller. It's all about the negotiation with the seller. Okay. So definitely take a look at that. And we'll focus on a couple. We got 3 more minutes. I want to make sure we get some other questions. Drew Clayton says, if I'm not your student and know very little, can I still join the challenge, or should I take your course first? Drew.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, Drew. Thank you for asking this question. It means that other people probably have this question as well. I don't want you joining my course. I want you going and squatting up with my students in my challenge that's completely free. Okay. I want you not knowing anything about real estate. I want you going and doing deals with my students. Please do not think you have to have experience. In fact, I prefer you not to, so that we can teach you the right way. The challenge is basic. If you go to that AirMeet link, it will also show you the videos that we've already done so you can catch up to speed. Okay. Here's a good one, Jamil. Here's one for you, brother.
Mark Larson asks, how do you deal with rural properties that need work and where there is not a lot of activity or demand? Do you just steer clear of those types of properties? And, sadly, Mark, yes. I go where the action is. I like to hang out where it's happening. One thing you'll never see Jamil is you'll never see Jamil where it's not popping. I want to be where it's popping. I want to be where all the buyers are. I want to be where
what does that mean specifically?
I mean, like if there's no activity, if there's no demand, Mark, who's going to be your buyer? What's the point of fixing a house that nobody wants? And will your investors be drawn to a property where there's no demand? I steer clear, bro. Go where the action is.
I agree with that 100%. In fact, I follow Jamil. If there's a market that Jamil is working in with Keegley, we will go into that market. If Keegley is not in that market, we will not go into that market. There's a sign there. Like if other people are simply not working in that market, it means Jamil and their team at Keegley, they do a tremendous amount of research. So I'm not going to go focus on my time and energy on an area that doesn't have a lot of buyers. I want a lot of competition. Competition means activity, collaboration, people to work with, funding, resources, everything I want. That's where you want to be. You want to be in places that are popping off. Here's a great one. Last question, I think, of the night, because I think I know where you're going to go with this. And I think then we wrap it up and we bid everybody a farewell.
Joel asks, counter question, how do you deal with markets that are extremely active? I stand in the middle of it and I get loud. I tell everybody I'm here to help or I'm here to be helped. Squat up, squat up, squat up, squat up. That is where that happens, Joel. In active markets that are where there's tons of activity, where there's a wholesaler every block. Oh my God, you're so lucky to be in a place like that. There is a buyer here. There's a buyer there. There's a deal here. Every one of those wholesalers has a potential deal you could move. Every one of those buyers might have a deal they could sell. When you're in an area where there's a tremendous amount of activity, that's where you want to be. You want to get to know folks. Go to all the networking events. Get to be the band. Get to be the lady. Be the person that's indispensable in that community. That's how you do it, Joel.
Love that. Collaboration, guys. That's why we're on Wholesale Hotline. And this has been episode 88. Jamil and Pace are going to be traveling around the country the next couple of weeks. We already gave you the dates, guys. We look forward to hanging out with you guys. And we will see you next week on Wholesale Hotline.
Peace.
Or just say squat up.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
What are you doing?
I didn't say nothing.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
So squat up and enjoy the show.
Cool. I think we should use the one where Jamil doesn't say anything.